The pounding on my door at 5 a.m. felt like thunder. I jolted upright, heart racing. When I opened it, my neighbor, Ethan, usually calm, polite, the kind of guy who waves from his porch, was standing there barefoot in the cold, shaking. "Don't go to work today. Just trust me," he said. His voice wasn't a request. It was fear dressed as urgency. If you're watching this, hit share and subscribe right now, because what happened after that knock will keep you awake tonight too. I ignored him once, and it nearly destroyed everything I thought I knew about my own life. I I don't understand," I stammered, pulling my robe tighter. "Ethan, what's going on?" He looked over his shoulder like he expected someone to appear from the shadows. "Just stay home, Rachel. No one from your office should step inside that building today." Then he ran, actually ran across the street and disappeared into his house, leaving me standing in the doorway while the first sliver of sunrise bled through the clouds. I tried to sleep again, but couldn't shake it off. Ethan wasn't dramatic. He worked in security, ex-military maybe, quiet and meticulous. So why would he look terrified? By 7 a.m., I was pacing my kitchen, phone in hand, debating whether to call my boss or the police. My company, Valence Tech, didn't exactly make friends. We handled private research contracts. Maybe Ethan's warning had something to do with that? At 8 a.m., my phone rang. Caller ID, private number. I hesitated, then answered. A man's voice, low and unfamiliar, said, "Ms. Moore, this is important. Stay home today. We're investigating something critical at Valence Tech." Before I could speak, the line went dead. That was it. The second warning before sunrise. Two different people telling me the same impossible thing. I grabbed my laptop and logged into our remote server. Files started vanishing in real time. Someone was wiping them. Whole projects disappearing from existence, line by line. By 8:30 a.m., news broke online. Local roads near the Valence Tech headquarters were closed due to a chemical malfunction. But then photos leaked. Police tape, ambulances, people in hazmat suits. My stomach dropped. 9 hours later, at noon, the first official statement hit every channel. Valence Tech cyber attack linked to classified data breach. Multiple arrests underway. That's when I got the message from Ethan. It was a single line, sent from an encrypted account. "Check your email drafts. It's time you knew why I moved next door." My hands shook as I opened my laptop again. I didn't remember ever saving anything in drafts. Still, there it was. An unsent message sitting quietly in my inbox like a loaded gun. Subject line: "If anything happens." I clicked. Inside was a single attachment and a few words from Ethan. "You were never supposed to work for them. They found out who your father really was." For a second, the world just stopped moving. My father? He had died 10 years ago in a car accident. That's what everyone told me. My mother never spoke about it again. The file attached was named VT09 Internal Brief. I hovered over it, breath catching, and opened it before I could talk myself out of it. Rows of classified entries filled the screen, stamped with my company's logo. My father's name, Dr. Alan Moore, appeared again and again beside words I didn't understand. Bioreplication module, neural mapping, terminated 2013, containment breached. My heartbeat hammered in my ears. Containment? Breached? I scrolled further until I found lines of correspondence between my supervisor and government officials. Subject's daughter successfully placed. Access credentials embedded via recruitment program. I wasn't hired. I was planted. Rachel. The voice behind me nearly made me drop the laptop. Ethan stood in the doorway to my balcony, hair damp from the rain, face tight with urgency. "You need to come with me now." "I'm not going anywhere until you tell me what this is," I said, spinning the screen toward him. He swore under his breath. "It's worse than I thought. They tracked his code through you. The system at Valence Tech wasn't just hacked, it was waking up. I stared at him. Waking up what? He didn't answer, just grabbed my arm and pulled me toward the door. Your father built something he couldn't destroy. They rebuilt it under another name. You're the only one who can end it before it goes public. The hallway was flooded with flashing red lights. Sirens wailed in the distance. My phone buzzed again. Another private number. This time, a woman's voice whispered, "Ms. Moore, they know you're not home. You have 30 minutes before they reach your location." Ethan dragged me down the emergency stairwell. They traced the file you opened. He slammed the door behind us, breathing hard. Everything spun in chaos. The cold air, the echo of boots on concrete, Ethan glancing over his shoulder every few steps. "We're going to my car," he said. "Then I'll explain. But whatever happens, don't trust anyone from your old job." As we hit the parking level, headlights flared across the rain-slick floor. A black sedan, engine idling, 2 men inside watching us. Ethan shoved me behind a pillar and mouthed, "They're early." Before I could speak, one of the men stepped out, raised a phone to his ear and said, "She's with him. Proceed." Ethan looked at me, whispering, "It's time you hear the real reason I knocked on your door this morning. Your father isn't dead." The words hit like a physical blow. For a second, all the noise in the parking lot, the rain, the sirens, the echo of engines, blurred into static. "You're lying," I whispered. "My father, there was a crash." Ethan shook his head. "That crash was staged. He disappeared because Valence Tech made him disappear." A door slammed. The men from the sedan stepped closer, their suits dark and deliberate. Ethan grabbed my arm. "This way." He ducked behind an abandoned van, pulling me low. My pulse raced so hard it hurt. "Why would they come after me?" I hissed. "Because you have what he left behind," Ethan hissed back. "You just don't know it yet." He pulled something small from his pocket, a metal chip the size of a thumbnail, faint blue light pulsing at its center. "This is your father's final drive. He hid it in your old university laptop years ago. You used that same laptop when you started working at Valence Tech, didn't you?" My throat went tight. "Yes, but I wiped it. Everything." Ethan gave a strained smile. "You thought you did. He buried code so deep it's been replicating ever since. They only found traces after you joined the company. That's why they hired you. To trigger the system from inside without you realizing it." Before I could answer, the men shouted, "Stop! Put it down!" A beam of light cut through the darkness. Ethan shoved the chip into my hand. "Run to the east stairwell, don't look back." He pulled a small taser, fired once. The spark lit the air. I sprinted toward the exit, shoes slipping over puddles. Behind me, there was shouting, the thud of bodies, a single muffled cry. I didn't stop until I burst into the alley behind the lot. My phone buzzed again. A new message. Unknown number. R. Go to the train station locker 52. That's where he left the rest. Half an hour later, I stood in front of locker 52, soaked and shaking. Inside was a plain manila envelope. My hands wouldn't stop trembling as I opened it. There were documents, government seals, classified stamps, and a photograph. My father, older but unmistakable, holding a newspaper dated last week. Written across the back of the photo were 5 words in his handwriting: "When it spreads, follow the light." I stared at the message as the lights in the station flickered once, twice, then went out completely. The screens on every ticket counter turned blue. For a heartbeat, my reflection flashed across each one, and behind my digital echo, a line of code began to scroll in glowing white letters. Those same words. Follow the light. Someone had just activated whatever my father built, and I was the only one standing in the middle of a city that had no idea what was waking up. A single streak of white light cut through the darkness of the station ceiling. The blue glow from the screens merged into a single pulse, throbbing like a heartbeat that didn't belong to any machine I knew. I clutched the chip in my hand as the message repeated, each word flashing faster. Follow the light. The crowd started panicking. Phones lit up with the same signal on every screen, that same phrase, the same color. Then, as suddenly as it began, everything froze. People's voices stopped mid-sentence. Half a scream hung in the air. But I wasn't frozen. Whatever my father had coded into that chip recognized me. "Dad?" I whispered to nothing. A whisper answered through the overhead speakers. Not sound, but memory. My father's voice. "Rachel, if you're hearing this, they tried to finish what we started. The system isn't a weapon, it's protection. It was supposed to stop them." I turned toward the main display board. Lines of data poured across it faster than anyone could read. Coordinates, server codes, bank accounts under Valence Tech's name. It wasn't chaos. It was evidence. Proof of how deep their crimes went. "This is why they wanted me gone," I breathed. Ethan's voice came from behind me. I spun. He was bruised, limping, but alive. "I told you your father wasn't dead," he said hoarsely. "The network's broadcasting every hidden document, every stolen project. The truth's not under wraps anymore. It's everywhere." Outside, police sirens grew louder, merging with the blare of emergency broadcasts. The blue light from the station flicked off. Morning sunlight poured through the broken skylight. One by one, people began to move again, unaware how close they'd come to being erased. I looked down at the chip, now dark and still, like it had finally finished its job. "He built a failsafe," I said quietly. "If anyone tried to misuse it, it would expose everything, even itself." Ethan nodded. "He trusted you to trigger it." I smiled, small and tired. "He always said I was better at keeping secrets than creating them." By nightfall, Valence Tech's name filled every news channel: global scandal, corporate arrests, government inquiries. My father's name was cleared. The foundation he started was credited with stopping the largest data crime operation in decades. 2 weeks later, a package arrived at my apartment. No return address, just a flash drive shaped like the one from the station, and a note written in his handwriting again. "You followed the light. Now build something better." I walked out to my balcony that evening, the city calm for once. The sky rippled gold and blue. Somewhere under those skyscrapers, people were finally safe from the code that almost consumed them. I placed the tiny, lifeless chip on the rail and watched the sun catch it. A final gleam before the light faded. For the first time in years, I wasn't the daughter of a secret or the heir to a disaster. I was just Rachel Moore, still standing, and for the first time, no longer afraid of what I didn't know.